Today I'm going to start working on the 10-gallon vertical vivarium, and if you've been subscribed to the channel, you'll know that I had just recently made one, and I've got enough material on hand that I was going to make a second one. So I've got pretty much everything laid out on the dining room table here. May not be everything I'm going to use, but it's pretty much everything. I think I've got it all here. Missing some tools, of course. So I'm not going to go over everything right now. It'll be more as I use it, but point out a few things. So obviously, you're going to need a tank. This process should work on any size tank. I'm happen to be using a 10-gallon, so that's what I've got here. I will be creating a door and a front for this. So I got some acrylic, and I've already cut it to size. So this piece right here is 4 inches tall, and that will be getting glued onto the bottom here. And once that's done, I'll be using some silicone to fill in the gaps, make sure it's watertight. So we do need this bottom piece to be watertight, but this will be glued on initially with this Weld-On 3 acrylic cement. If that would focus. Anyway, I used this on the last one, and it worked perfectly fine. It glued or bonded the acrylic directly to this black frame, and it actually did make it watertight, but I'm going to go ahead and put some silicone around it anyway, just to make sure. Once that step is done, I'm going to begin working on the background, and I've got a few pieces of driftwood. These are just some pieces that I had from when I used to have a freshwater aquarium. And so I'm going to see if I could use one of these. I'm thinking this one will be a good one. I'll probably have to cut it down a little bit. I was thinking maybe that in the background. And I thought it kind of looks like a root or something. And I thought that would look kind of cool. So I'm going to see if I can work with that. But yeah, once I get the wood positioned where I want it, I will be filling it in with some black spray foam. And this is some waterfall foam sealant. And you could also use the Great Stuff yellow foam. But this is black, and it works just as well. And I think it's less that you need to cover up later. Once the foam's in place, it'll be carved into the shape that I want. There'll be a few planters, embedded in the foam that I can put some plants in somewhere up there. And then the foam will be covered in some black aquarium silicone. And once that's all smeared all over the background, I'll be coating it with some coconut fiber, and that'll kind of give it the appearance of like a dirt wall. And I'll be mixing in some other mosses, probably some of this terrarium moss, and maybe some orchid bark. Put it in there, make it look a little bit more natural, I think. Then for the substrate, we'll be putting a false bottom in first. That'll be separated with our screen substrate barrier, and then the ABG mix. I'll have to mix that up, and that'll go on top. And then that'll probably be covered in some sphagnum moss. And we'll be putting some plants in there. And I don't know if I'll be getting some more plants, but I've got a few here. I'll probably put them in there, see how things look. And then that's pretty much it. And obviously I need to build the door, so the door will be getting connected with some acrylic hinges. And then on top, just like on the other one, I'll have this with some screen mesh on there for ventilation, and I'll be making a little locking mechanism for it. And I think that's pretty much it. Then for lighting, I'll be using another one of those magnifuge lights, which actually is this one up here. Works pretty good. And so that's the plan. So I'm going to get working on that, and as I complete each step, I'll explain what I did and give you a closer look. And then show you how this is all done. All right, so I've got the bottom piece bonded to the tank with this Weld-On 3. And it's been sitting there all last night, all day today. I have it filled with water just to leak test it. And I'm not getting any water out of here, so it's actually bonded to there perfectly with this. But I'm going to go ahead and put a little silicone bead around here anyway. I just fill in these little cracks, make it look a little nicer, and just in case if it does start to leak, that can stop it. And I'm probably going to put some along the inside as well. It's hard to see, but the tank really isn't meant to be watertight along this top rim. Although it is siliconed on there, and it appears to be anyway. I'll probably put a little bit of extra silicone in there just to make sure. And then, yeah, so the only thing I could say about this is you just got to make sure that you get that on there correctly the first time, because you really only get one shot at it when you're using this stuff. And if you mess it up, that is not coming off, at least not in one piece. So you're going to want to make sure that you get a nice even surface there for when this door is put in place. I want to make sure that this is able to fit flush against there when I put the hinges, because I don't want any gap in there for any of the fruit flies or any little critters that'll be in there to come crawling out of. And then, obviously make sure that everything fits on both sides, able to open and close properly. So it looks like I got this one okay. And then, yeah, so that's about it for this. So tune in on the, for part 2. I'm going to start working on the background and get the driftwood on there and start with the spray foam. So, all right, guys, I'll see you in part 2. Thanks for watching.